Time to make the speech!
Oh yeah. Well then let me talk to you, my fellow WrestleManiacs, about the speech I will be giving today. I will not be doing it in a dumb voice, but I'm doing it for emphasis, because today I am talking to you about the single greatest sports entertainment spectacle of all time. Yeah.
And that is professional wrestling. My speech is all about the WWE World Wrestling Entertainment, previously known as the World Wrestling Federation, and my persuasive speech is to tell you that it is bad. Not just how it's bad, but why it's bad and how it could be better. If you're not aware, wrestling or professional wrestling is fake fighting between two outrageous and made-up individuals that then go fight in fake fights that have fake outcomes and then react in fake ways. Basically, there's two larger-than-life characters. They enter a ring, varying specifications from a ring that's on fire to a ring filled with dumb steel ladders that go 20 feet up, and then they throw each other off of it. And whoever gets pinned loses for an imaginary title, and basically it's an enormous sports opera with lots of violence. But it's still a valid entertainment spectacle because, well, they're talented performers, they have to throw themselves all around, they have to act well on promos, and, well, they need to be really good at getting hurt and giving hurt, and all of the fights aren't choreographed, so it's all improvisation, which is what makes it so interesting and what makes wrestling so. At any rate, wrestling is something that, despite being ridiculous and very dumb, is still at the heart of our entertainment and television history, which is why I think it's important to document it when it's bad. So I'm going to talk to you about how wrestling has declined, first by discussing the quality of the entertainment, the management of professional wrestling, and then how wrestling has treated its talent and the strategies that it's using that are failing. So, first and foremost, wrestling used to be about two big early men punching each other. It was fun. They would give promos. You would have outrageous characters like The Undertaker, a man who, though we're all convinced that it's real, is informed to be a necromancer that can come back from the dead through cheesy, light effects and turning and flicking off the lights, teleporting around with an urn with an obvious smoke machine. You have those larger-than-life characters that seem more in place in a comic book than otherwise, guys like Hulk Hogan who were the interest in Randy Macho Man Savage, and then you have people act as though they're real, and then they fight, and it still seems kind of real because you see them so much. It stops being a thing when Randy Macho Man Savage goes off on some wild tangent, or the Ultimate Warrior goes skronk and tells you to load the spaceship up with a rocket. It just becomes a matter of process. However, lately wrestling has not been going for that approach, and unfortunately due to the decline of interest, since it's revealed that it's all fake, as if it wasn't intensely obvious, is now more towards a reality sort of program. For instance, very recently, instead of having a wrestling match, they had famous internet meme Grumpy Cat show up on stage. And then they offered him a movie deal in, I think, a 15-minute segment, wherein a wrestler known as The Miz tried to make Grumpy Cat smile for a very meaningful segment that had nothing to do with the rest of the match. Oftentimes, instead of having a sort of wrestler-drawn thing, they will have some sort of stupid humor segment, like dressing the Big Show up like a giant baby, or having Hornswoggle, a small midget, eat a Christmas dinner that the managers were preparing. Sort of actual soap opera subplots, and that's bad. That's dumb, it's bad television, no one wants to watch it. Not to say that WWE isn't already bad television, but it's good bad television. This is just bad television. Now, a big reason for this is because the creative staff and the management staff are unfortunately staffed by people that the legendary promoter and CEO of WWE, Vince McMahon, puts into power. Vince McMahon is an astounding businessman by everyone who has ever encountered him, and also a complete idiot who doesn't know what a burrito is. And Vince McMahon is known just to be just as crazy and ill-advised as he is clever and well-educated. Vince McMahon often surrounds himself, unfortunately, with glad-handing yes-men, such as the famous promoter John Laurinaitis or the infamous Vince Russo, who then create segments like the Grumpy Cat segment and then write out wrestling rather than let the performers themselves deal with what they're doing. This creates a sort of stagnation in the wrestling complex, which makes wrestling itself very, very, very overplayed and even more struggling and sluggish to go through. Now, third, and in my opinion most importantly, is the talent roster. Now, we all know guys like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, even if we don't watch wrestling. We know guys like Hulk Hogan and maybe even Andre the Giant because they're household names. You know, we're very familiar with these characters simply because of the effect it's had on entertainment. But we're a bit too familiar. Now, maybe you guys know who John Cena is, but chances are you don't know about, yeah, right? You don't know about many other wrestlers. You can't see them. The reason for that is because, and found in the WWE, you see, you have a lot of great young talent in the WWE. People that are great at talking, like CM Punk. You have people that are great at fighting, also like CM Punk. And you have people that have outrageously weird but good gimmicks, such as Bray Wyatt, the infamous swamp man cult leader, who in universe has a creepy Charles Manson death cult that like actually has magic powers, a la The Undertaker. And you have these guys that are electrifying performers, but then you don't put them over, which means that you don't have them win matches. You don't have them in a position where they can gain crowd favor, so no one talks about them, no one knows about them. And why do you do this? Because you have guys like The Rock, and you have them become up. You have these older characters show up, and they take care of it from there. And that creates a rift in talent and old talent. Basically, the WWE puts over old talent far over their developmental and much more required newer talent. So, I guess, in closure, though WWE is arguably an intensely idiotic organization, it's being run even more idiotic than its core base material. And that is bad, not just for the WWE, but for entertainment in general.
So don't leave, Brian, we have questions. Questions for Ron?
I have a question.
Yeah, what's it?
Don't you think it's changed just quite a bit, knowing that big time wrestlers that you're saying are not putting people over, pushed down into the mid card?
What's up?
Like,
No, I couldn't do that.
no, like for example, John Cena was like being pushed every year and leading every event, but now he's a mid card and they kind of like.
Well, that's the thing is though that John Cena still has a super strong
I mean, of
career.
course he does.
Yeah, and he can stay in the mid-card, I guess, for a bit. No one's going to forget who John Cena is. But the problem is that John Cena is still eating talent. Like, he beat Rusev last WrestleMania. Rusev was a young up-and-comer with a stupid gimmick. But now Rusev's gone under, his career is dead. It's like when Great Khali got beaten by John Cena, he was like dancing for the camera on a Big Show baby cycle. And it's like John Cena still has a made career. He doesn't need to be put over because he already exists, but he's dragging younger guys under, and that's hurting the entire industry.
Do you think that wrestling has a future? There are a couple of stars, and then there are other people, as you said, such as the Hulk, that are fading away. So do you think it will still have a future?
Well, guys like Hulk Hogan, they're really old. And they're not even that really good. We just have like nostalgia. They're like, you know, Sting is older than the wood that makes his baseball bat. You know, and they still had him wrestle at WrestleMania. The problem is though, I think wrestling might not have a future. And the reason for that is because MMA exists. And MMA is real fighting and it's getting way more traction, like the UFC. CM Punk, personally my favorite wrestler, is a straight edge savior. Recently, after being messed around with by WWE for so long, decided to jump ship to go to UFC after he got fired on his wedding day for like having a staph infection and not being able to make the ludicrous WWE conditions. And so UFC is gaining more and more traction. I don't know if in the long run, WWE, with how it's being run right now by Vince McMahon's Yes Man and his nepotistic family, it will be going anywhere but down. Now, I don't know, maybe the WWE could get its stuff together, because one thing the WWE has that the UFC doesn't is showmanship. And like, it's It's dumb because it is a ludicrous larger-than-life fantasy that somehow is mainstream, and there's, like, part of why I like it is because it's so absurd and outrageous that it's so popular. Like, there's ludicrous amounts of trailer park people that are, like, super into wrestling, and, like, you can make millions of dollars off the industry. But, like, it's so perpetually popular, and mostly it's because of the showmanship, because it's fun to watch people go around, and because it's improvised, it's like a real fight, just with a choreographed ending, and fighters trying really hard not to actually hurt each other, but it's not evident to you. And that does create sort of a fun performance. It's fun to root for someone in this match. And you can find yourself very easily doing that based on the promos that they get. So wrestling probably doesn't have a future, but maybe it does. Maybe Vince McMahon can get his stuff together, or maybe Triple H, who's probably going to succeed him, will figure out what to do.
Well, where did Vince McMahon originally get his money? Where does his money come from?
Well, I know that his father used to run the, I guess the original incarnation of the WWF, and then he died. This man got into business, and I forget exactly how, because I'm not so educated on Vince McMahon's biography, but I know that he managed to turn it into a multi-million-dollar. He turned WWE into what it is today, for better or worse, because he basically monopolized the wrestling market, so no one can put it on TV except for TNA, which sucks. And so Vince McMahon got his money, I guess, through wrestling. He's always been a wrestling guy.
Any other questions? Thank you so much, Ryan.
I had 5 and he had 6, so, but no, he has 6. And I have 5. And you have 7, right? You have 7?
And it would be after your speech is done, after your question and answer period.
What? It's a 4 line. I didn't count it, but I don't know.